But if you happen to be traveling by British Airways, I worked for them many years ago, and happen to be traveling out of Terminal 5, well, your luggage might still get lost. But I'll tell you something that won't get lost. That's your problems. They will reach to New Zealand, Australia, Canada, South Africa, wherever you choose to go. They will arrive there ahead of you. And the line you have from wherever you live now is no nearer or no clearer in these places to get in contact with God. So I have known situations where people fast. You know, I've made up my mind that I want a certain thing, whatever that thing might be. It's something serious, like the right wife, something like that, the right husband. But I've seen Little Miss Pretty, and I think she is the one for me. So I'm going to fast about it. What's the point? What is the point? You've already made up your mind. You're fasting to confirm something you already know. Jeremiah 14:12. When they fast, I will not hear their cry. And when they offer burnt offering and an oblation, I will not accept them. But I will consume them by the sword, by the famine, by the pestilence. This trio is mentioned in Jeremiah 15 times, in that order. And we can expect it to happen. You know why we can expect it to happen? Because we are doing the exact same thing that the people in the time of Jeremiah was doing. And therefore we would get this same response, the same result. Ezekiel mentions it 7 times. And that trio is mentioned twice more in 2 Chronicles. So it's 24 times you'll find that trio in that order. The sword, the famine, the pestilence. And when these things strike, God says, I will not hear. There would have been people crying out in Burma. There would have been people crying out in China. There will be relatives living in Britain and America and all over the world crying out. God says, don't worry, I will not hear. So we can expect more of this. Do I enjoy saying these things? No, I don't enjoy it. Sometimes I wish I was wrong. But this is pure, straight scripture. Now let's have a look at a section of scripture where all this comes together. And this is Numbers 22. And this is the report about Balaam and Balaam's confrontation with the eternal God. You know, Balak, the ruler of the Moabites, he was in a state because he saw the mass of Israelites who had come out of Egypt. And so he decided, what I will do is I will call Balaam, who was good at what he did apparently. If he blessed you, you were blessed. If he cursed you, you were cursed. So he called Balaam and asked him to bless him and curse Israel. Well, you know, we do the same thing today. Before we go into Iraq, we call in the astrologers. The bankers tell you before they make their big decision, they call in the astrologers. It's no different. We haven't changed anything. So Balaam is promised money. It's always to do with money. And then suddenly, God turns up that night when Balaam is there and said, "What are these men with thee?" And Balaam says, "Oh, well, they came to ask me to curse Israel." And God said to Balaam, Thou shalt not go with them. 2, thou shalt not curse the people. 3, for they are blessed. So there were 3 things God said to him. Do not go with them, you shan't curse the people. 3, because they're blessed. So Balaam, he rose up the next morning, goes to Balak and said, I can't go with you. Get back to your land. The Lord refuseth to give me leave to go with you. So this set of princes that were sent to give him this job to curse were replaced by even better ones, with more gifts, with more promises, promotion to a great honor, and whatsoever thou sayest unto me, I will give you. Balaam said, I can't go beyond the word of my Lord, the Lord my God, to do less or more. So Balaam said it with his mouth. But inside his heart, he was thinking, man, all this gold and silver these people are giving me, how can I let it go? So he says, now, I pray you, tarry ye also here this night, that I may know what the Lord will say unto me more. Sorry? What the Lord will say unto me more? God told him bluntly, you shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people. There was no more to be said. And you say, when God tells you something, He only has to tell you once. And then you decide, yes God, but I know a better way. And I see it around me all the time. Yes, I got all these people having all these problems. They know a better way. They go their better way. And you know what happens? They end up with the result they feared. And the blessing they were seeking just does not happen. So God comes to Balaam and says unto him, if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. Of course God is saying, you're ignoring me, go with them. Go boy, go. But yet the word which I shall say unto thee, that shalt thou do. Balaam should not have done that. Balaam should have said, Lord, I am sorry, I am out of here. But Balaam thought, wow, an opportunity. He rose up in the morning, saddled his ass, and went with the princes of Moab. And God's anger was kindled because he went. Surprise, surprise. We go our own way, do our own thing, then expect God to hear, and not only hear, but to answer. And answer according to our heart's desires. We know exactly how we want it answered. Anyway, God's anger was kindled because he went. And the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. The angel of the Lord. This is God himself. Many times you see the angel of the Lord is referring to God himself.